Hi everyone, you are welcome to Apostle Wakawa channel. In this video, we will be looking at marriage as business before pleasure. Now let's go straight into the video. But then remember to subscribe, click and share with your friends so as to benefit from what we'll be discussing today. Now we are looking at marriage as business before pleasure. And that is very important because before God gave man a wife, he gave him a work first. You know, a lot of people have problems in their marriages today, and most of the problems are financial in nature. So if you look into scriptures, there was a pattern that God followed, and if you follow that pattern, you'll be safe. For instance, in scriptures, before the woman was given to Adam, in Genesis chapter 2, from verse 8, we were informed that God took the man and put him in the garden. In verse 15 of the same Genesis chapter 2, we are told that he put him in the garden, which was in the east of Eden, to dress it and to keep it. So man had a physical work that he was doing. Now that took place before the wife came. So in Genesis chapter 2 verse 15, we are told that Adam was tending, he was dressing and was keeping the garden. You see, then in Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, we are told that it is not good for a man to be alone, you know, and I will give him a helper that is meet for him. So he was working, physical work, he was tending, he was putting the garden in order, and then now he qualified as a worker to have a wife. Of course, part of the reason is that he has to have something that he could use to take care of his family. Before the family started, God gave him a job to do. God gave him work to do. Now, God did not even stop at the physical work. God also had to test his mental capacity. How did I know that? The scripture tells us that God brought all the animals and asked this man, Adam, to name them. And whatsoever name he gave, that was the name of the animal. So all the names you find out, dogs, pigs, cows, you know, giraffe, hippopotamus, whatever the names are, it was man that gave the names. And it was not that God was dictating. No, he gave him absolute liberty to name the animals. That simply means that God had to test his mental capacity, his intelligence, before giving him a wife. That was not all. God also had to test his speech. You know, the scripture says, whatever he called them, that was the name thereof. So what does that mean? He was also able to speak. So to me personally, in our days today, I think that before a man should even venture into marriage, he should be able to either do a physical work, that means get a handwork, or get a mental work, that means be sharp upstairs. You can, produce intellectual properties. That is a work. And then, of course, you can even be a public speaker. You should be able to speak at least. You know what I mean? How can you even make it, you know, without talking? Because you don't get a woman to say yes to you by just looking at her. You just have to speak. So we could see this man properly packaged so that he could succeed in his marriage. It was after all that God now gave him a wife. So that the man himself, you know, will be a leader indeed. He'll be able to lead because he has a job to do. You know, he is intelligent enough, and then he could be able to speak. So a lot of men go into marriage unprepared. And that is the reason why we have a lot of troubles. Personally speaking, for a man to say that he's going to get married and for his wife to feed him, then he has lost control. Because how can a woman submit to you when you are not providing anything? I discover in my counseling sessions most of the time that the problems we have is that the man is not working, and the woman is expecting the man to be the provider. Of course, I agree that women should work, the man should work, the two of them should form a team, and then something should be kept in the home to take care of themselves and their children. But listen to me, according to scriptures, it is the man that need to actually be the breadwinner and take care of his family. Come to think of it, a woman will find it easy to submit to a man that is providing for her. How can a woman be providing for you and submit to you at the same time? Man, it will be difficult. See? So let us even look at other examples in scriptures. For instance, look at Jacob. Jacob is a good example. The scripture says in, I think, Hosea chapter 12, verse 12, that Jacob fled to Syria, and for a wife he kept sheep. That man had to go and keep sheep. He became, a cattle rearer in order to have a wife? Sure. Remember the story of how he went to Laban, and of course he got in love with a beautiful girl called Rachel, and was eyeing the girl. He wanted to get married to her, but the father played the smart one on him and gave him the ugly one instead, And then when he woke up in the morning and discovered that the one that he thought was the beautiful one was the ugly one, they gave him the ugly one. So he said, what do I do to get the beautiful one also? And they said, well, 7 more years. Imagine, that guy worked for 14 years in order to get the 2 wives. One of the wives, he worked because he loved her. The other one, he worked because he was forced to. So my friend, better learn to work as a man, because of love, or else life will cause you to work because you will be forced to. You see? So it's business before pleasure. There is no man, for instance, that will just give his daughter's hand out in marriage without having to find out first, young man, what are you doing? What is your vocation? What is your job? Can you keep a wife? So we really need to look at the pattern. And any young man that follows this particular pattern will get it right. Many years ago, when I wanted to get married, I was a pastor. Yes, I was a student pastor. I just started planting churches here and there. I was not financially okay, but I was mentally sound. I knew my assignment. I knew that I was called to preach. I knew that I was called to teach. I have gone to school. I've trained myself in that, and I was ready. That was why within 6 months I got married. And even at that, because I understand that I have to be the breadwinner, I have to do a lot of things. I remember the particular time when I had to go and farm, because what was coming in to take care of me as a pastor and take care of my wife was not much, because I was just starting. I remember one time I went and got a land and planted beans, planted corn, planted so many things. My wife only discovered it when it was time for harvest, and she was so excited. I remember the song she was even singing. She was singing a beautiful song. Why was she singing? Because she has a man who was ready to work in order to take care of his family. Let me tell you, my friend, if you are a believer, the scripture says that if a man cannot provide for his own, and most especially for the members of his own household, he is worse than an infidel, and he has denied the faith. So as far as the Bible is concerned, if you cannot provide for your own family, I'm not even talking about your relatives and every other person, but at least your own family, that family that you want to form, if you cannot provide, you have denied the faith and you are worse than an infidel. So in the mind of God, marriage is business before pleasure. So if you take it like that, I am glad to announce to you that there will be peace in your home. And for the men that are saying, I just have to stay in the house and take care of the children and let the woman go out there and work, that is a recipe for disaster. Because by the time you allow this woman to start earning, and she start earning more than you, she's providing everything. Imagine this, you expect a woman to go out there and work, make the money, and slog it out. Then she comes back in the evening while you are there resting, and now you are expecting that even in the night you want to stretch your hands. She will hit that hand immediately and take it off. So do you want to be in control of your family as a man? Yeah, it is business before pleasure. Either you get a handwork or build your mental jobs, use your brain, or you can even be a speaker. Whatever it is, just be sure that you get a job, and then you are working, then you can take care of a family. So what do you do if you have no work? Please take it easy. Put these things in order, and then you can have a good wife. That way, you will have a family that is a little bit balanced, and then you will have success in your home. I just hope that this little advice will really help somebody out there, Well, don't forget to subscribe, to click, and to share with your friends. And until I see you again in the next video, do have a great time. Bye.